Hello everybody and welcome to section 7. After we know how to create 3D models and how to create assemblies, it's the time to talk about how to create detailed drawing. Usually, these drawings are used when you want to send a model or an assembly you created to your manager or to the manufacturer or to a supplier. You cannot share your native files all the time, so in some cases you will need to create detailed drawing and you can send them to anyone in PDF format or any other format that they prefer. Usually, these drawings are used in manufacturing and fabrication. Now, let's talk about creating a drawing file. Before creating a drawing file, we have to have a 3D model. That's why I will start with a new part file, and I will start a sketch on the front, and here I will create a rectangle and give it the following dimensions. Then let's extrude this to 100 millimeters and set it to mid-plane. And after that, select fillet and set this to 30. And then select this edge. And after that, select chamfer and select this edge and make sure to set it to 25. And then start a sketch on this face, and let's draw a circle and give it a diameter of 30 millimeters, and then select extruded cut and make sure to select through all. Then start a sketch on this face and simply let's place a point, make it horizontal with the origin, and then set a distance between the point and the edge of 20 millimeters. Then finish the sketch and go to Hole Wizard. And here I will create a countersink. I will select the DIN standard and I will go with hex socket, this type. And I need it to be M16 and the fit to be normal. And for the end condition, I want it to be blind 75. Now select positions, 3D sketch, and simply snap to the point you just created. Then hit OK. And here we have the hole. If we have a section view, you can see it here. Let's go back to this sketch, and instead of 20, let's set this to 25. So the hole will make more sense and it won't be that close to the edge. Now, you need to save this file before creating a detailed drawing file. That's why select save. And here I will call it a drawing 3. Once it's saved, you can come to this arrow here and select make a drawing from part assembly. Here you need to define two things. The sheet size, which is very important when it comes to printing out these sheets, and the other one is the standard. So I will select the DIN and I will go with A3. So A3 is the size of the sheet and DIN is the standard, then hit OK. And here you will have this sheet. As you can see, we have the name listed here automatically, which is the same as the part file, drawing 3. And here's the size. And later on in this section, we will see how we can modify this box, because we don't need all these fields all the time. Now, let's talk about inserting the views. We have two ways to do this. The first one is to go to Drawing, then Model View. And here you can browse to the file you want, but I prefer the other way, which is here. Select this icon, and here make sure to browse to the file, then you will have automatically all these views listed. I will go with the front, just drag and drop. Now if you move the mouse up, you will have another view, move it down, move it left, move it right, and if you move it with an angle, you will have this view. Once done, hit OK here, and here we have all the views about this body. Now, if you select this one, you can change the display. and since it's the master one, everything was changed with it. Now, if you try to drag it, everything moves with it since it's the master one. You can drag this here, you can drag this here, but you cannot drag them up and down because they are projection views. You can change the view of this one. And now, let's talk about the scale. For example, if you're not happy with the size of this shape, you can simply click here on it, and then go to Scale, use Custom Scale, and let's say I want this to be 1:1 scale, and it will get bigger. If you try to scale the master view, now everything will be modified with it. So make sure to be aware of this point. Let's say let's set this to 3. And now drag this. In some cases, you will need to be able to deal with this view separately without the link it has here. So we need to break this link. To do so, select this view, right-click, and go to Alignment, and here, Break Alignment. Now, if you try to drag it, it goes in any direction you want, but you cannot do this with this one because it still has the link here. Now, let's go back here and let's insert the, let's say, isometric view. And here, as you can see, it has a connection or an alignment. So drag it anywhere else in the beginning, and then now drag it here. Now select it and set it to shaded with edges. And if you're not happy with this angle, simply you can select 3D drawing view and select this view, and now click, hold, and rotate. Like, if this is okay with you now, simply release, then click OK, and here you have this view. So now we know how to insert the views and how to control them and how to break the alignment between them and how to scale them. Next, we will talk about section views. Section views. Now, before talking about section views, I will select this view, then hit delete, select this one and hit delete, and so on. Now, if I come here, and this time I will insert the top view, and here, as you can see, there's no way for us to see what we have here inside. You can change this view to hidden lines visible, and here you can tell that we have a hole. But in many occasions, you will need to have a section view. That's why I will turn this into shaded with edges, and for section view, simply come to Drawing. You'll find Section View. And here, obviously, we need a horizontal section, not a vertical one, because we need to see what we have here in this area. So you can select the type of the section from here. From here, you can select the type of the section, horizontal, vertical, or you can have it with an angle. For now, let's select horizontal, and simply snap to this point here. Then hit OK, and simply move the mouse down. Now, here we have the letter A, which is listed here, and it's the section name. And also you can flip the direction, but this is the correct direction for us now. If you drag it here, then you will need to flip the direction. It will make more sense. Then hit OK. And we know that this is a section view because we have this hatched area. You can select this view and change it to another one, or you can change the scale if you want. Next, we will talk about Detail View. Detail View. In some cases, you will need to magnify a specific area that has a lot of details you want to show. Before doing so, I will go back to this section view and I will set this to 1:2 scale. Then hit OK. And let's say you want to show the details of this area here. To do so, we have a tool that's called Detail View. Simply, you can go to Drawing tab, then select Detail View, And here it will be as if you are drawing a circle. So I'll snap to this point, for example, and draw a circle, and then drag it anywhere you want. Now, as you can see, this part, which is included inside the circle, was magnified. Now, the style, you have per standard, and let's say the connected. Connected is the best one because you can see the connection between it and between the origin part. Now, you can name it, and the name is B, which is here, and the scale is listed here. So if you're not happy with the scale, you can come here, and let's set this to 2.75, and it gets bigger. You can control the style, and so on. Once done, hit OK. And here how you create detail view. Next we will talk about center lines and center marks. Center lines and center marks. Whenever you create a 2D drawing like this, you should specify the locations of the center lines of holes and cylinders. So I will select this view and I will set it to hidden lines visible. Now, if you have a look here, there's no way from only this view to tell that you have a hole here. So we need a center line, so we know that this is a hole. Now, to place the center lines, you can go to Annotation, and here you will find Center Line. Simply select this line, and select this one, and in between them you will have a center line which indicates that this is a hole. You can do it here too. If you select this line, and if you select this one, then you will have a center line in between. This is not only limited to holes. If you select this line and this one, then you will have a center line here too. Now, I will select this once again, then hit delete because it's not correct. When it comes to center mark, as this view, you can simply select this circle and you will have this center mark here. Now you can control the size of this center mark. If you go to Display Attributes, you can remove this option, use Document Settings, and you can remove this option, Extended Lines, and here you can control these values. Center marks are not limited to circles. You can select center mark from here and select this arc, and here you will have the center and you can reduce this size. Next we will talk about Note and Format Painter. Note and Format Painter. In many occasions you will need to add notes to your drawing so you can deliver a message to whoever reads your drawing. That's why we have this tool here under Annotation, which is Note. If you select Note, you can click anywhere and you can simply start typing. And here, this toolbar is very close to what you see in Microsoft Word, for example. You can pick the font you want. Before doing so, make sure to select the whole thing by clicking inside this field, then hit Ctrl A. And here you can control the font, and after that, for example, you can control the size, and you can control it in millimeters if you want. Then you can control the color of the text, and you can make it bold, for example. You can make it italic, and you have all these options. So once done, I will go back to this and set it to 7, and then hit OK. And here you have this note. Now SolidWorks assumes that you want to create another note. That's why you still have this option. So if you click anywhere on the screen, you can call this SolidWorks 2. And notice how 2 is very small here, but don't worry about it for now. Now let's create another note, for example here, and I will call it SolidWorks And as you can see, there's a huge difference between this note and this one. Now, in some drawings, you will create a lot of notes, so it's not practical to come to every note and set these settings. Now, to solve this problem, we have under Annotation, Format Painter. Now, select Format Painter, then select this note, and after that, simply select this one. Now, notice how they have the same style. One last thing about placing notes is that if you want to set a note related to this surface, when you select note, instead of replacing it anywhere, you can simply snap to this line, and here you'll have this arrow which connects the note to this surface. Next, we will talk about adding dimensions. Adding dimensions. Now we know how to place the different views we have, and we know how to create section views, detail views, and how to add notes. Now it's the time to talk about how to add dimensions. Adding dimensions is very easy and straightforward, and we already saw such a thing when we talked about 2D sketching. It's almost the same. Here, under Annotation tab, you will find Smart Dimension. Select Smart Dimension, and as we did in 2D sketching, you can define a length. You can define a distance between two lines. You can define an angle. You can define a radius, and you can define a diameter. So basically, you can define all the dimensions we already defined in 2D sketching. Now, let's talk about the format. If you select this dimension, for example, you can come here to Other, and here you can remove this option, use Document Font, and select Font, and here you can control other options, like for example, I want to make these dimensions bold, and instead of 3.5, I want this to be, let's say, 7, and then hit OK, and here notice how this dimension is different now. Now, you can apply Format Printer even to dimensions, so if I select Format Printer, then select this dimension, and after that you can simply select this one, or you can select both of them at once. Now, you can select what we call baseline dimension, and here you can start here as a baseline. Then whenever you click, there will be a new dimension referenced to this line. Now, if these dimensions are not organized well, here you can select all of them, and at once you will have this option, and then you can select Auto Arrange Dimensions, and this will arrange them in a good way. If I select Format Printer once again and select this one, and you can select these. And now select them once again, and let's select Auto Arrange Dimensions, and it will take into account the new size of these. Now, let's talk about an important point, which is Hole Callout. When you select Hole Callout, simply select this hole, and here, as you can see, we have this note. I'll place it somewhere here, and I'll drag this somewhere here. So basically, the diameter is 17.5, and the symbol means the height or the depth of this hole, and here we have some other dimensions about this area here. This is the angle, and this is phi. So this is the advantage of using the hole wizard. As you can see, this note was automatically generated. You can also use it with holes created using extruded cut, and in this case you will have phi 30, which is the diameter, and a through, which means this hole is a through. So when it comes to standard holes, such as this one, it's better to create them using the hole wizard, so you can generate such a callout. So this is what we need to know about placing dimensions. Next, we will talk about editing the sheet format. Editing sheet format. In some occasions, you will need to modify the sheet format, especially this box here. You will not need all these fields. To do so, go to Sheet Format, right-click, and select Edit Sheet Format. And here everything was turned into blue, which means they are sketch entities, which means you can treat them as sketch entities. For example, you can select this line, then hit Delete, and it will be deleted. You can select Group of Lines, and then hit Delete, and they will be deleted. I will hit Ctrl Z now. Or alternatively, you can go to Sketch tab, and from here you can select Trim Entities, and for example, you can trim these entities. So we are dealing with a 2D sketch now. And it's not limited to deleting items. You can also add items if you want. But for now, I will delete these. And you can still select these notes and delete them. And if you have something in mind, you can, for example, add a box here, and you can divide it as you like. Now, once you're done with editing this format, you can simply finish the editing, and look how we have this new format. When it comes to filling these fields, you can fill them using notes. You can place a note here, and you can name it, like I will call this practice. And you can keep filling all the fields you want until you get them all filled. Now, everything we did until now is listed under Sheet 1. You can have another sheet. If you click this icon, Add Sheet, now we will have another one with the same standard. You can come here, and now, instead of this part, I will browse another one. You can browse to any other part you have. For example, I'll browse to this one, and I will place it here. So now we have this part. And finally, let's talk about saving this file. So when you save this file, you need to give it a name, and I will call it Drawing3. Now, the thing is that whenever you modify a dimension in the 3D environment, it will be modified here. As you can see, we have this length of 150. Now, if I go back to the original model, and if I open this sketch, and let me modify this to 125 instead 150, and I will save it. And now let's go back to our drawing sheet. I need to rebuild it here. And as you can see now, after you rebuild everything, this dimension was modified. So there's a link between the 3D model and this sheet. Now, when you export it to another format like PDF or DWG, DXF, this link will be broken. So you need to keep the original model. You can delete it, because when you delete the original model, the relationship or the link between them will be broken, and then you will not be able to view this drawing. Before exporting, I'll need to delete these notes here. And now let's save this, and let's save as, and here I need it to be in PDF format. And it asks me which sheets I would like to save. Since I have Sheet 1 and Sheet 2, I have them both selected here, then hit OK. And here I have this drawing. This is the first one, and if you scroll down, this is the second one. So this is how you export files. Now, whenever you modify the original model, this file will not be modified, because there is no link between it and between the original model. So this completes this section. The next section will be the practical part of this training course. We will model, assemble, and make some detailed drawing of a Stirling engine.